My name's Nicholas Michael Leiden. I'm 18. I just graduated from Brophy College Preparatory, and I'm going to be going to the Barrett Honors College at ASU come this fall.
And Nicholas, what was one of your favorite school memories or experiences that you can share?
Definitely Kairos was my number one. Just had a lot of self-affirming kind of things that went on, and I really enjoyed that whole process.
What is that?
Kairos is just short of a week-long retreat to Prescott, which is like a smaller city in the mountains in like northern Arizona, and you basically just like open up about a lot of things like spiritually and emotionally, like in troubles in your life. And so it just the fact that you realize that everybody else has issues makes your issues seem much more manageable.
Okay. What advice would you give to incoming freshmen? What have you learned, and what advice could you give to somebody who's going to? This whole high school experience is going to be all new to them.
I mean, honestly, the advice that I was given is I feel like some of the best advice, and I didn't heed it at all, which makes it feel somewhat worse. But just it goes by really quickly, so just be a part of everything that you can. And it's just shockingly fast. So,
List 2 or 3 jobs. What would be a dream job if you already know what it is, and if you have 1 or 2 things you would, if you had the opportunity to do, what would they be and why?
I think it'd be super, super cool if I could be some kind of like writer for either like a TV show or maybe like, I don't know, for movies or something. I think that'd be like an awesome job. I'm signed up to go into engineering, so I mean that's not like a super likely thing for me, but I think it'd be really cool if I could kind of transfer once I become an engineer, if I do, which is, I mean, I don't know, who knows. But if I were to become an engineer, if I were to transfer into some kind of position where it's more business oriented, I think that'd be really cool.
What would you say is the greatest quality someone can possess?
Probably passion for something. I mean, whenever I've met someone that has a passion over something, I just find them to be automatically a more enjoyable person to be around, for the most part. Like whenever I have a teacher that's actually passionate about their job, even if I don't really like them or their class maybe, like, I don't know, I'll just have some kind of respect for them, like kind of right off the bat. So I feel like passion's a pretty big one.
That's a great one. What are 3 things you know for sure about life?
Tough one. I would say the 3 that come to mind would probably be kind of similar to what I learned in high school. It goes by much faster than you think it will, and it just keeps getting faster. It's about the connections with people that you make. I think it's like that's the end goal, is like not to end up like, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to be like wealthy and have like a lot of experiences and stuff, but like it's being with someone that you want to spend your life with, and it's being like having children and having friends and all that. 3rd, nobody really knows anything. Yeah, I guess that's the big one.
What are 3 things or a few things that make you happy?
I mean, kind of an obvious one is laughter, but yeah, I always appreciate like someone that's either funny or I can hold a conversation with, going to the movies and laughing at that, seeing someone trip that I don't know, just dumb things. Food makes me happy, undeniably. Love food. And
Would you like to cook?
no, too much effort in that, but I do love other people's cooking, I guess. 3rd thing that makes me happy, my girlfriend makes me happy.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, including, it doesn't have to be this world, it could be, outer space, where would it be and why?
I think it'd be really cool to go to either maybe Florence, Italy, a lot of parts of Italy would be really cool to visit, just because I think the Roman Empire is so fascinating and there's a lot of ruins. Or also Japan would also be a really, really cool culture to visit, I think, because there's some stuff that they have in it that I think is really cool. But also it's like so completely foreign for the most part compared to like our society, so I think it'd be really cool.
Okay. Last question, and since it's in honor of Father's Day, I'm just
Hmm.
going to ask everybody to just a few words about your father. What your dad, what makes him unique.
Uh, Hands down the most reliable person I know, and like probably like the biggest role model in my life. Uh, yeah, he's just like always been there, and like I know that he always will be. He does whatever he says he's going to do, and I like really respect that because I don't think that's at all common. But yeah, love the guy. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
I'm Connor Brennan. I'm 18 years old, and I just graduated from St. Lawrence High School, uh, all boys Catholic school, and I am going to Columbia next year, downtown, in the North Loop, and I'm going to be studying film, probably a minor in music, but major in film.
And Connor, can you share with the audience a favorite memory or experience from high school?
Favorite memory? It would have to be my junior year morality class. We watched a documentary on called A Day in the Life, where it was a bunch of different sent-in videos of random people around the world's lives, and it compared and contrasted like the poorest of poor in India to the richest of rich in America, and then our teacher had us make our own, and we kind of compared it to that, and it was a pretty eye-opening experience to see how better off some people are and how worse off some people are compared to ourselves, and how some people are kind of like there were people walking 10 miles to work, and it just kind of made you think, and that was probably one of the best experiences I had at St. Lawrence.
Dave, what advice would you give? What somebody who's in eighth grade going into high school, what advice, um, looking back, you could share with them?
Definitely to get involved, because I didn't have the choice to go to St. Lawrence, and so I went in with a mindset of this place is awful, I'm not going to like it. So for my first 2 years of high school, I kind of just didn't want to get involved, and then once I got involved, my junior and senior year, I ended up loving the school. Um, if someone's going to a Catholic school, I definitely say they go on Kairos. It's a very good experience. But yeah, get involved in as many clubs as you can and stuff like that.
What would be like one or two dream jobs for you to have?
Definitely writing and directing movies. Um, that would be number one. Number two, I'm not sure. Maybe something with music. Maybe performing in like in a symphony or something like that, in that type of atmosphere. Maybe even like a band, jazz piano, that type of thing.
I was going to ask instrument. Um, what do you have a favorite, or could you share a couple of your favorite directors?
Definitely Wes Anderson, probably my first, just because his stuff is so unique, and the way he does his cinematography, it's like the colors are always so vibrant in his movies and stuff like that. Tarantino, because all his storylines are just so original and action packed, and probably Paul Thomas Anderson. He his stuff is pretty different, but it's very original and usually has a really good meaning in the storyline.
What would you say are your greatest qualities that you possess that you think will help um, make this a better world we live in?
Oh, that's a tough one. Uh, I think that usually I'm pretty outgoing, and it gets people to warm up to me easier. I pretty much went through high school not having any enemies, I would say, except for some of the administrators. But student-wise, I mean, I get along with everyone very well, and even when it came to like student council stuff, if there was stuff that some students wanted and others didn't, no matter what decision I made, I was kind of able to keep everybody happy, which I think is kind of tough to do.
And you were the president of the student council.
I was.
And how did you like that? What was the favorite? What did you enjoy most about it and least about it?
I mean, most is everything that I didn't like that the student council did for my first 3 years, I was able to change. I mean, I kept a lot of stuff the same. I just kind of heightened it up more. Like we have a poster night where the Monday before our homecoming game on Friday, all the students and cheerleaders go in and make posters for the football players to pump them up and stuff. And usually kids would show up. There'd be like 15 kids. And I had like a record high of like 65, 70 kids and stuff like that. I got the most kids at the homecoming dance since like 91. Stuff like that. I just kind of I reached out to more social groups instead of just kind of like the popular clique, and got more people involved, I think. But what I liked least about it was definitely having to deal with the new way of our school and the new direction of the curriculum and administration. That was a little tough to deal with.
What are three things you know for sure about life?
Definitely that you got to make the best of it. If, I mean, it's better to do something and then do something that you're gonna enjoy and have fun, and then take whatever consequences that are gonna be coming afterwards, than to not do it and think what if, like what would have happened if I did that, or think the whole time after that I wish I did it. So definitely make the best of it. I mean, this kind of goes the same, but it goes fast. I can barely remember grade school, and let alone high school. And three, I would have to say, do what you want, because I feel like college-wise, I was set on U of I for music, and then I last minute kind of changed my mind, and I think that I'm going to be a lot more happy doing what I want at Columbia than playing it safe and knowing I could get scholarships doing something else.
What if you could travel anywhere in the world, even out of this world? Uh, where would it be, and why?
I'd want to say Ireland, but I think I'll get there sometime, so I might have to say maybe Rome, to see just everything, the Sistine Chapel and everything else. I feel like that's something that everyone has to do. And I don't know. I'd like to see all seven wonders of the world. I haven't seen any of them yet, but traveling wise, that's probably what I'd want to do first. What I like most about my dad is definitely that he supports kind of whatever it is that I feel I should do. Kind of like what I said about earlier, I could have gone to U of I, or even Eastern probably close to nothing, and U of I could have gotten a lot of scholarship money off for music, and instead I decided I wanted to go to Columbia for film, which is $30,000 a year, and he didn't kind of say like, no, you're going to go to this school because we're going to pay a lot less. He said, if that's really what you want to do, then you go ahead and do it. And I mean, I'm eternally grateful for that, because that's what I feel my calling is, and the fact that he can support it and stand by me and let me do it is what I'm thankful for. So, Dad, happy Father's Day.
Okay, I'm Claire Leiden, and I am 21, just graduated from NAU with a degree in marketing, and I am on my way to start working with Yelp,
And AU?
Northern Arizona University.
Did you have a favorite school memory or experience you could share?
Definitely. Probably my favorite is actually my most embarrassing story, but it is my favorite because it totally changed me from then on. My favorite time was junior year, and it was spring break. My friends had invited me to go camping with them after we had done this really fun trip to Mexico for a few days. So we went camping in Fossil Springs, Arizona, and or Fossil Creek, excuse me, and we had to do a little jump to our campsite. So we had to jump this small little rapid. They told me it was super easy, anyone could do it, and I was like, perfect. Okay, so I handed off my bag. It was cold out, so I was wearing my dad's triple XL jacket at the time. And so I was like ready to go, and I took my step onto the rock to jump, and I stepped on moss, and I slipped and fell into the water, and then I went with the rapid and shot out the little mini waterfall. And I was just freaking out. It was so cold. I was never a big camper. And I just thought, this is it. It's over. You're going to be lost forever, and no one's going to be able to help you. So it was really scary, but it was so great. The minute it was over, I had to laugh at myself. It took me a couple minutes to recover, but I laughed at myself. I realized in the scheme of things, it's not a big deal. There's no reason to be embarrassed. And from then on, I just kind of felt like, the worst has happened. What else could go wrong? And I was always more excited to go camping from then on. And so, all of my favorite memories in college are probably camping with my friends.
Looking back on your 4 years, what experience and knowledge can you kind of pass on to like someone their first time in college?
Sure. Number one most important thing, push every single limit you have. Be uncomfortable as often as you can. Just push your limits just to experience a new part of life. You never know what you're going to like until you try it. And I learned that from falling in a river. But, it's just really do things you're uncomfortable with and never think you can't do something because it's not true. And to write things down. I realized halfway through college how important it was to just document the moments. Pictures are great too, but I realized when I wrote things down, I could see where I was then compared to where I was now, and I could see the growth I had. And I think that's so important, is to really just check in with yourself and just have those fun memories. If it's, something silly, just write it down. If it's about a boy or a girl, they might be there for 5 minutes of your life, but write it down. It's really fun. And the last thing I think is just to love hard and live in the present. Yeah.
Do you have a dream job or 2 or 3 things you would love as a career, and why?
Okay. It's a tough one. I think it would be really cool to be a yoga teacher, but around the world. To be able to reach out to other people with different backgrounds, because it becomes a process of them learning from you, but you learning from them. So I think that would be a really cool thing to do, and to see the world and just learn different minds. And I think I would really enjoy... when I was younger, I used to really, really want to be a big-time, movie star, just because I think it would be really fun to live in someone else's shoes for a little bit, and to just kind of learn different parts of yourself from learning about someone else and playing that back to other people.
What would you say one of your greatest qualities that you can use to make this a better world in which we live?
Oh, wow. I would say my optimism. I have quickly found in life, through a lot of hard experiences, that there's no better way to look at anything, especially hardship, than with optimism, and just seeing that this is going to be awful right now, but nothing but good things will come from it in time. So just learning to find the positive in almost any situation, good or bad. Yeah.
What are 3 things you definitely know about life?
I know it goes by far too fast. it's extremely fragile, and that at the end of the day, we're all learning forever, so no one knows everything, and you never will.
What are a couple things you're most excited about in this new year coming?
Well, I'm super excited for my new job. I think that it's giving me an opportunity to learn a ton about so many things. Um, I'm really excited just to see where the journey of life takes me because I've definitely found, especially through college, you have no idea where you'll end up. So just to see where that goes. And I'm really excited just to meet new people. You know, I just moved and I'm excited to have that freshness and find some new stuff.
What are three things that make you happy?
Oh, wow. I love people. Family, friends, strangers, if they're nice. I love laughter for sure. Anything that'll make me laugh, I'm gonna like. And I just love nature, really just being outside.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, including out of this world, where would it be and why?
Wow. I have always wanted to go to travel through South America. Just because I got a taste of it in high school when I went to Peru. And I really liked it, and I think I didn't get to learn enough because I wasn't there long enough. So I'd really like to go back and just experience a new culture, new food, you know, new dancing. Love to dance, so that'd be a good one. And there's some really big landmarks there that I've always wanted to see. My favorite thing about Tony, my favorite man, is that he is just the rock in the family. He's someone I've always counted on, and I always know I can. And he's a quiet guy, but I really like poking fun at him, pushing his little buttons, and just knowing that he will love us for anything and everything we do, and he'll always be there. Happy Father's Day, Dad!
I'm Drew Leiden, son of Debbie and Chris. I just graduated from Conant High School and I am heading out to Arizona State, and I'm 18 years old.
Drew, can you share with the audience one of your favorite memories or experiences in high school?
I'm gonna have to say the homecoming football game of my senior year, just this past year. Me and my friends were put in charge of, getting out support for the football team and making sure everyone had a good time at the games. And just to see everyone at the football game, supporting our team, we had a huge turnout. It was really cool, and we ended up winning that game, which just made it that much better.
Okay, what advice would you give to incoming freshmen?
It sounds cliche, but get involved. You meet a ton of new people, and you can also bring your old friends into the clubs that you join and the sports that you join, and you might find something that you really like, something that you might want to do for the rest of your life, and you'll meet people, you'll have a ton of memories to remember. Get involved.
A favorite job you would love to do once you're out of school?
I think something that I would want to be is an economist, kind of work with stocks. I want to be downtown. I think that would be a great place for me. I think I'd fit right in. I think that's the only thing that I really have in mind right now.
Perfect. What are your greatest qualities, or what's your greatest quality that you feel could make the world a better place?
I think my friendliness and my ability to get along with people really well. I love meeting new people, and I think once I do meet those people, we click right away. I don't know, I like finding something that I have in common with the person, which is always good.
Okay, what are three things you know for sure about life?
Three things that I know for sure about life. It's important to laugh, Uh, Also, love is not overrated. Love is very strong. Strongest force in the world. Let's see, number 3. Uh, Never forget your family wherever you go.
What are you most excited about this upcoming year? A couple of things you can mention.
Meeting new people is one. Let's see. Also, figuring out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, or at least going in that direction, I think will be interesting. It's classes that I'm taking should help me with that. So yeah, I think that's it. And the Arizona weather.
And not to the desert.
Yes.
What are 3 things that make you happy?
Family and friends, I think we can categorize that as one. They're always there for you. My dog Ziggy, he's a great listener, never talks back. And the game of basketball, it's always been there for me, and it always will be as long as I can play.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Long Beach, Indiana, just because I already have a lot of memories there, and I look forward to making more memories. I think it's the most beautiful place in the world. Yeah, I love it down there. My dad, he always knows what to say. He always has something to say, which is awesome. I know I can go to him for anything. I never have to hide anything from him. I never will. I never have. And I just love that I can talk to him about anything. And it's awesome that we have so much in common as far as between sports. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm working at a grocery store the summer before I head out to Arizona State. And my dad worked at County Fair at the grocery store the summer before going out to Arizona State. So I think that's pretty cool. I love him. I always will. And happy Father's Day.
I'm Madeline Leiden. I just graduated from Arizona State University, where I got a undergrad in marketing through the business school, and I've also got a minor in sustainability as well as an international business certificate. So right now I'm interning at Ogilvy and Mather. It's an advertising agency in downtown Chicago, and their main office is out of New York. And after that, I'm kind of open to see what happens after that.
Excellent. What can you share with the audience, one of your favorite school memories or experiences?
I would have to say one of the best experiences I had was studying abroad. That was one of the first times I had been outside of the country, so for me it was really great just to experience new cultures, meet a ton of new people, and I kind of went in on my own. There was no one else from ASU that was there, so it was kind of interesting in that aspect. I was in Dublin, Ireland for I think about 3 months from September 2011 to December 2011. So that was really great. I loved it so much. Some of my best friends were Samara from New Zealand, and then I met Candace, who is also from the US. We did a lot of traveling. We got to go to different European countries, and from that I just kind of took the world is a lot bigger than you think it is. You live day to day in your little bubble, and you live, with your immediate friends and family, but you never really interact with people outside of that, or people that you've never met before. So doing that kind of gives you an insight on how other people in different countries live and how they view the United States or that they view Americans. So I loved it so much. I'm glad I did it.
What advice would you give to, after your 4 years of college, what advice would you give to a freshman?
I would say one of the first things is just don't be afraid to introduce yourself. A lot of times you don't know who's living in your dorms, you don't know who your roommates are, you may have a couple friends at school, or you may be going to school where no one else goes. But you need to be able to introduce yourself and kind of be open to all of these experiences and all these people that you're going to meet, because what may seem like a small introduction, right next to you in class, so, oh, hi, my name is Maddie Leiden, and, it might take 2 seconds and the class starts. You don't know what other classes they might be in with you. You don't know, if they become one of your best friends. So for me, that was one of the biggest learning experiences I had to have, because growing up here, I knew everyone that went to my grammar school, I knew everyone that was in my high school, and I had the same group of friends pretty much all throughout. But once I went to school, I didn't really have anyone other than my cousin Claire, so for me, I was able to meet some people through her, but it was really a big learning experience for me, just being able to go out and make these new connections and make these new friendships. And I mean, some of the people that you might just say hi to later on in life, they're in a group project or something that your grade reflects off of them, or they become one of your really good friends. So it's just interesting to see how these small introductions or these small moments that you might have with someone that you think are so insignificant might actually become a big thing in the future for you.
What's your dream job? What would you love to do?
Well, right now I really love my internship, and I'm kind of working with different advertisements, whether it's commercials or print media, and just learning about the process of here's the idea, here's the first concept, and then how it goes through that brainstorming process and then ends up on your TV or ends up in the magazine you're reading. So for me, it's really interesting because there's so much research behind it. What do consumers want? What do they look for? How do they choose Coke rather than Pepsi, even if it's the same product? So for me, that's something that really interests me. I really do love my internship right now, and I think it's something I could see myself doing in the future. So as of right now, I would say, becoming an account executive for an advertising agency, or potentially working on the creative side someday, and being the one who comes up with the different images or things like that for advertisements would be really interesting for me, because those are things that, it's, you want people to buy your product, but you don't realize how media influences everyday life and just the culture of, America. So I really like it, and I think it's very interesting.
Do you watch Mad Men?
I do. That was actually right when I started watching Mad Men. I had my first advertising class with Paul Mershik. He was like one of the best teachers I've ever had, and he was such an interesting person, so it really made me more invested in class. But he kind of went through all the concepts and where you start from an idea and how it gets to the TV and all the different people who are involved in the process. So that and Mad Men, seeing how much money they make and how they have to give these pitches, and I mean all the drama, a lot of that probably isn't in the workplace, but it's still very fascinating, I think.
What's one of your greatest qualities you feel can make the world a better place to live in?
One of the biggest things I always try to do is just look at things with an open mind and give people the benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of the times it's easy to just write someone off, or even if the person in front of you is being a weird driver or just being a bad driver and you want to be mad at them, you're late, it's so easy to just do that. But you don't know what kind of day they're having. You don't know what's going on in their life. So I think for me, just kind of being sympathetic towards others and being open to learn about them and, learn about their history or see what they're all about, what their ideas are, what their values are, because it's so easy to judge a book by its cover and say, oh, that person dresses weird, I don't want to be friends with them. But in reality, you don't know what they've been through, and each person has their own story, their own challenges, their struggles they have every day. So I think that, like I said, it's easy to kind of write someone off or not pay attention to them, but if you keep an open mind and give people the benefit of the doubt, a lot of times they'll surprise you, I think.
3 things you know for sure about life.
Okay. Number one, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. I think that's huge, and I think that for me, looking for employment process or the different jobs that I was interested in, I was looking towards Chicago when I was in Arizona. So for me, I couldn't just go to a career fair and look for someone. I kind of had to make my own connections. So it was huge to kind of, I used LinkedIn in order to find someone who went to Arizona that works at Ogilvy and Mather that I was interested in, and being able to reach out to him. And when I was home for Thanksgiving break, I went to the office to meet with a couple people who I could get, have an informational interview, hear about their experiences at the company. And then later on when I was applying, I could say, oh, I've met with these people. They've kind of given me some insight. This is what I already know about the company. So for that, it was huge. And I think getting me the opportunity that I have now, as well as just being able to learn so much from them as well. So I think that, like I said before, no matter how how minuscule you think, a thank you card will be, or introducing yourself to someone. You never know what kind of position they might have or what kind of person they might be. They might become your best friend. So a lot of times I think the smartest people that you know are your friends and family, and they instill so much knowledge upon you that you wouldn't find out by yourself. So I think that's huge. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. I think another thing, everything gets better with laughter, I think is a good one. Your hardest days or days where you just are so embarrassed, you make the biggest fool out of yourself. Like, I have some of the most embarrassing moments and stories that in the moment I never want anyone to find out about it, or I just am so mortified. But later on, when I'm telling a friend, I say, oh, you know what, I fell down some stairs in front of everyone. Or I remember one time in high school, I was in I was in a track meet, and I was running, and it was my first one. I was so nervous ahead of time, and I knew I wasn't super good because I just hadn't been, in the team as long as everyone else and such a good runner. And I tripped on my shoelace around like the third lap or something, and I just got so mortified and was crying and so embarrassed. But later on, when I told my friends, it was so hilarious, and it was such a good thing to kind of enlighten them of what happened to me. So it's those moments where it's so hard and embarrassing and you don't want anyone to know. But once you share those and you're able to laugh about it, it makes it 10 times better. And you get to enjoy that moment that once was so painful for you to endure. And I think, like, if you have an issue or a problem or something family-oriented or a very serious matter, sometimes just talking over with a friend and being able to laugh about small things just makes it go away and makes that load so much lighter on you. So laughter is always key, I think, in life. And lastly, being open to all experiences is really going to take you far in life, whether it's being able to travel, meeting tons of new people, and seeing what their culture is like and learning so much from them, and just being aware of the world outside of your own, or just going on vacation, being able to unload a little bit, being somewhere else you're not usually at. I think that's really good in terms of being appreciative for what you have and the home that you have. I know for me, going out of state was awesome, and I grew so much from the experience, and I met so many new people. But then when I would come home, it always just made me appreciate it that much more. I appreciated my family, my parents, my brothers, and being able to hang out with them, and I hadn't done that for months. It just made those moments a lot more special for me, and I was so much more excited to see them. And now, I'm living at home and I see them all the time. I'm like, oh, no big deal. But there's a time where you don't see these people for so long, so it's exciting to see them again. So yeah, I think traveling is huge, and just being appreciative of where you're from by experiencing other places and other people as well.
What are a few things you're most excited about this upcoming year?
I think for me, just figuring out where I may be living is really big. Right now I'm living at home and saving up for the summer and working downtown, which is great. But I'm excited to have new experiences, and whether it be working in downtown Chicago or I move somewhere else, I think that next step will be really exciting. And I think graduating college was huge, and that's a huge step. But I also think there's this transitional phase where a lot of people go through. You're graduated, but you're not necessarily on your own yet. You're not necessarily completely independent. So I'm excited to get to that point, and kind of start my own life and start my own, travels, experiences, career.
What are 3 things that make you happy?
I think making other people laugh has always made me happy. I remember when Drew was little, just, trying to make him laugh, or, we would play games with each other just to entertain ourselves. And you really do get a sense of accomplishment and just joy from other people laughing and having a good time and knowing that you were the source of that. So that's something that you can't really, there's no other feeling that you have than putting a smile on someone else's face. If there's someone that you see has a lot of potential, like for me, I was a peer programmer at school, and I planned events for my freshmen when I was a sophomore and still lived in the dorms. There was a couple people, that have a lot of adjusting to do when they get to college, and, are kind of learning a lot. And then there's a lot of people who you can just see, this person's going to go far, and this person's going to have these great experiences and just kind of take on the world. So I think seeing that transformation between, oh, I'm just kind of a timid freshman until, okay, I'm getting the hang of this, and then you kind of see where some people have internships or jobs. That's awesome. And it's the same thing for my brothers and my younger cousins, and seeing them, so young and just having fun, and then they get a little bit more serious and they do these great things like, Connor with his music. Like, that's awesome. So I think it's seeing people grow and kind of becoming the person they are and just finding their passions, and just seeing that transformation along the way is huge. And then lastly, what makes me happy is obviously friends and family. I think that each person, while you have your own personality, I think you're shaped by the people around you and the support groups that you have. So each person you meet and each friend that you have leaves a little bit of themselves within you. So I think that's why it's really huge to build yourself a nice support group and, be friends with people who you really cherish and who you really value. There's so many people in life that come in, whether it be like reason, season, or lifetime. I really believe in that quote. And some people teach you a lesson, they're there very shortly and you learn something from them. But the people who are in there for a lifetime, they're the ones who are really your support and really your influencers. So I think that my family has been so huge and so great and so supportive. I love them so much. They're the greatest people I know. So they obviously make me so happy.
Okay. If you could travel anywhere in the world, including out of this world, where would it be and why?
Well, my immediate response would be New Zealand, because my best friend that I made when I was in Dublin was from New Zealand, and she was such an interesting person and had all these, the slang and just this way about her that was so carefree and just genuine. So that's something that I would love to, learn more about, meet more people, and just kind of, I've heard it's a beautiful country, so that's somewhere I would definitely want to go to. But a bigger place, I guess, or a different kind of thought process I think it'd be really interesting to, be under the sea, because there's so much that I think people don't know, or scientists still don't know about the ocean, and just seeing different types of life down there and how everything sustains itself. Up here it's like, yeah, there's air, there's trees, there's all of that, but I mean, other than snorkeling or what you see on Discovery Channel, I don't really know what goes on down there. So I think it'd be kind of fun to see something different, I guess. I think one of the best lessons that my dad ever taught me was options, always having options. That's something that he said, when I was young and trying to find my first job, or when I was trying to pick what college I wanted to go to, is you want to have options. Because at the end of the day, if you just kind of put all your eggs in one basket and that doesn't work out, it's not going to be that great. Or if you only kind of reach for the easiest thing, that's not going to push you to your potential. So I think having options is huge. It's something that I bring to myself every day, depending on what career I want, or whether it's weekend plans, like which one sounds best to me, kind of thing. So that's been one of the best things I think he's taught me, is just making different avenues for yourself that you can go down, because you never want to be forced in one way or another. You really want to be able to do what you want to do at the end of the day, and you want to know that you have any opportunities that you might want. And I also think another thing, kind of piggybacking off of that, is being aggressive with your own career, your own beliefs. Someone's not going to come and say, hey, you know what, here's your job, you can just lay it all on the table. You need to work for it, and you need to take the best steps in order to get where you want to go. So I think for me, just seeing his business and seeing the type of person he is, and being able to create a life that he wanted, I think that's so great, and I really appreciate everything that he's done for my brothers and I want to be able to be like that person in the future that is able to provide for whatever wants and needs I want, as well as my family. So I really appreciate him for that, and love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day. You are awesome.
Here's a wishing well, here's a penny for any thought it is that makes you smile. Every diamond dream, everything that brings love and happiness to your life.
Here's a rabbit's foot, take it when you go, so you'll always know you're safe from harm. Wear your ruby shoes when you're far away, so you'll always stay home in your heart. You'll always have a lucky star that shines because of what you are, even in the deepest dark, because your aim is true. And if I could only have one wish, darling, then it would be this: love and happiness for you.
Here's a spinning wheel. Use it once you